Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier, and this is the Piracy Show. Now, clearly, there's been a bit of a reaction. Some people see it, some people don't. And, I mean, to be honest, the best way I can explain it is, let's say this was the year 2006. And I was on the EVE Online forums, and I submitted a design for a new cruiser. It's a Caldari Galente mix. And this is my submission. And I call it the Constitutional class. Right? It's not quite like the original was. It's different in a lot of ways, right? So, clearly not there's no copying going on there. Now, beyond that, there's controversy, of course, starting from this. So once again, I am going to avoid that kind of crap because the drama really doesn't do anything for me, and I see it as kind of a waste of time. The he said, she said, blah blah blah. But I mean, obviously, I call it like I see it. I look at that and I go, oh, it's the Copperhead dropship. I'm sorry, I can't unsee that. I mean, if someone were designing that and thinking, well, maybe they won't notice or whatever, it's like, yeah, right. Because everyone knows sci-fi fans aren't detail-oriented and don't remember all kinds of minute little details from the movies they enjoy. So, I don't know. But, we'll move on and we'll talk about the sale. Now, the Prowler itself, does CIG have a right to sell it for $425 or $380? Yeah, absolutely. It's their, well, I was about to say it's their ship. It's their shop. They can sell things how they want and for the price that they choose. Would I buy the ship? No. I like the design. I like its appearance. I said that in the other video. I think there's a lot of ideal ways that things are designed on that ship. But would I purchase it? No. There is, in general, in the Star Citizen lineup of ships, the Star Citizen Anniversary Sale really is the best opportunity to consolidate your fleet, pare down, and get the necessities. Get the things that you're going to need when the PU launches. And sometimes you might look at some ships that you have and say buyer's regret, or you might look at other ships and say, I like this, but I also want that. And it's a good time to kind of figure out what the necessities are, what you need. And so there's a list of ships in my mind that are, I think if you're willing to drop $425 or $380, I would like to stop you for a second and say, consider this. If you don't own one of these ships, this is first and foremost, this is one of these ships is one of the ships that I have purchased, and I will never sell it. It is completely beyond the possibility of a sale. And that is the endgame moneymakers. The big industrial ships, that being the Reclaimer, the Crucible, and the Orion. Those three ships, I think, really are, at the end of the day, a solid foundation for any player or any group of players to use to actually make money in the PU. Whether you're using the Orion to strictly mine, or whether you're using the Reclaimer to either help your organizations' operations, whether fighting Vandul or whatever, NPCs in space or even players or whatnot, then you can add value to those operations or mitigate the expenses of those operations by going around with the Reclaimer, picking up the remains, recycling them, selling off whatever good components there are, and then getting rid of the scrap metal and making a bunch of money. And with the Crucible, everyone's always going to need repairs, so I think that those three ships, first and foremost, if I were willing to spend the amount of money that that a Prowler costs, say, let's say $380, which is the war bond or cash sale price, I would not get that ship. I would go and I would look at a Reclaimer, a Crucible, or an Orion. And for me, it's the Reclaimer. And I am never going to get rid of that ship because that is key to my day one strategy of how to kind of build up enough of a bankroll so that it can carry me through the lean times. Hopefully there won't be any, but it's a possibility. And so that's kind of where that comes from. And that's why I think those ships are far more valuable than a Prowler would ever be. Now, if you're not willing to spend up to that much money, I would say the next three that I would consider would be the Starfarer, the Banu Merchantman, and the Caterpillar. Those are the next three down the list if you were looking to spend just a little bit less. Now, the Starfarer, of course, I've spoken about this ship before. I mean, the ability to create fuel, the ability to haul and refuel other pilots, or the ability to just change it around and just turn it into a cargo carrier if the need arises, or if the mood suits you and you just wanted to haul cargo for a while. There it is. Now, with the Caterpillar, you know, I mean, obviously beyond like sort of the mini carrier aspect of it, which is possible, I'm going to say right now, because we haven't really seen how far you can take it and how viable that would be. And it'll probably be a while yet before we do. But it still lists its legitimate purposes as, you know, basically like rescue and recovery. So you got to figure that there's going to be some different modules that you can use, possibly medical modules. So there's probably a lot of different uses that you can get depending on the modules that you own for the Caterpillar. So the Caterpillar, I think, is a very strong ship. The Banu Merchantman, of course, the ability to fly around space and then land somewhere and then just open up shop right there and start selling your goods. I think the RP value of that, and just, you know, that would be an interesting life to lead in the Star Citizen universe. So that's a ship that I really, really like. And once again, they have good cargo capacity. All those ships do. And so I think that they have very strong earning potential. Now, below that, I think the Hornet is a really strong ship. I really like that. The Redeemer. I know some people don't like the Redeemer, but irregardless, the Redeemer is solidly armed and has plenty of facilities on it. So I gotta say it, like, no matter if you hate or love the Redeemer is a solid ship. And below that, the Herald, especially with this new kind of scanning and exploration talk that we heard during the CitizenCon or during one of the videos dealing with the Herald when they were interviewing Josh Coons. The Herald is really starting to look like an incredible ship, especially in the price range that it's in right now. Now, those are the ships that, especially like if I were a new player or if I were somebody just getting started in Star Citizen, those are the ships that I would really be looking at. Now, on to the Cutlass, and here you can see me sitting in the co-pilot seat of the Cutlass Black right now when we were just having a little group up, me and my org. And so I did finally get to see, you know, the concept art that Josh Coons had put out, or at least the update art that he had put out. And it seems that the Cutlass Black is now returning to the original concept. And of course, that original concept art was the art that kind of sold me. Whoops. Okay, that was just a little oops moment, you know. Bugs happen. But, you know, it's kind of returning to, you know, the original concept work of the Cutlass, which is kind of what sold me on the Cutlass, especially this image right here. That was the image, you know, as soon as I saw that, I got the Cutlass and I got the Blackbeard pirate skin. I was like, yep, that's it. That's what I want. That's the ship. And, yeah, you know, I was pleased to see the way it is. It looks a little bit squatter, a little bit tighter, a little bit more closed in. And so I can possibly see the maneuverability coming up a little bit more with it. I had kind of gotten used to this Cutlass, the in-game Cutlass. And so there's still like a little bit of a part of me that kind of went, oh, you know, I was kind of hoping they'd keep it just a little bit closer to the way it is now. But I mean, that's just my opinion, honestly. Obviously, there's a lot of people who are very pleased with it. And you know what? I think it's going to be very interesting. I want to see how it turns out. I especially want to see the interiors. But it does look cool. It does look cool. I just have to say that I had kind of gotten used to this Cutlass. So we'll see how things turn out. And, you know, I think it is in the right hands. And I think it is going to turn out well. So beyond that, there was also, you know, some stuff going on, people talking about Star Marine and how Star Marine looked during the live stream. And yeah, I mean, it you know, those people who are basically calling it out and saying Call of Duty, yeah, I saw that. And it was nice to see it up and running, but I had kind of hoped that we were going to see the medic, you know, that we were going to see, you know, someone dragging someone out of combat and then healing them and that kind of stuff, you know, and we had seen some of that stuff, or at least an approximation of that stuff in videos a while back. So I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt and say, you know, maybe that was just some stuff that they had cooked up and that stuff wasn't ready back then. But now, like, they're getting closer to it and it'll be coming along soon. I'm willing to take that leap of faith on that video and say, you know what? I bet it'll go somewhere productive, but I think it's going to take them a little bit more time. Clearly, they're still having some issues. I think issues around time to kill and whatnot. You know, it's their first iteration. It's their first time, you know, basically taking this out for real and not just being what it is on Korea Station. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, you know, if you remember Arena Commander in the very beginning, it didn't take much to kill somebody, and now it definitely takes a lot more hits to take somebody out. So we'll see how that goes. But overall, like, the live stream, the one thing that really stood out for me, the one thing that I really, really liked was when they showed the Big Guns, the UEE video, this video here. That was amazing. When I saw that, I was just like, yep. I'm still happy. You know, I'm still in a good mood. I'm still in a good place. And I want to see the direction that things go. That video, more than anything else, put me in a positive place. That, and I guess in retrospect afterwards, seeing, you know, the new Cutlass, because even though it is a departure from this Cutlass, I'm really interested to see where that goes. I want to know what those big things hanging under the wings are now. Is that some kind of a mobilization system? But I guess, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. But overall, yeah, you know, the live stream was really good, but the Prowler thing, obviously, I mean, you know, I don't really think there's any way to kind of escape from that. That is, you know, that is what it is. And I think we're going to be hearing a lot more about that in the coming months, obviously. But anyways, that are, you know, those are my thoughts on the live stream and the ships we saw. Those are my thoughts on the ships that I think are the best ships out there. I think that the best ships out there are the ships that we've already seen. Ships like the Reclaimer, the Orion, the Crucible, the Caterpillar, the Banu Merchantman, the Starfarer, the Redeemer, the Herald, and, you know, the Hornet, obviously. But I mean, the Hornet's a given. So those are the ships that I think are the real standouts. And if someone were to ask me what would be the most solid ships going into the future, if you've already got money into Star Citizen, what would be the best foundations that you could give yourself as a player in various price ranges? Those would be the ships that I would pick, and for the reasons I've already given. So that is the episode for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.
Quantum travel initiated.